Hi everyone, and welcome to Jane Talks Trek, where I'll be talking about and reviewing an episode of the original series, The Next Generation, Voyager, Deep Space Nine, or Enterprise. Today, I'm looking at This Side of Paradise from the original series' first season. Or as I like to call it, that time the happening sort of happened. This episode was requested by LES Yankee 61 and Ed So, particularly for the tearjerker scene at the end. I'll get the tissues ready and let's get going. We begin the episode with another planet not answering Uhura's space phone call, and turns out 150 people set up a colony on a planet that probably killed them, so Kirk wants to take some people down to investigate. So all the red shirts call in sick. Wait a minute, just being on this planet could be a risk, so Kirk takes himself, the first officer, Sooooo and McCoy without any protection? Why does McCoy's face look so dirty? They nose around and find the colonists perfectly healthy, and into the credits we go. Elias here is thrilled that people have come to visit and wants to show them around, but the group wonders how they survived. Sooooo thinks they might be ghosts, and of course Spock and McCoy argue about it. Ooh, I like this colour. Elias explains that they've split into smaller groups in case of disease, but Layla and Spock eyeball each other, apparently having met before, and according to Elias, the simple life is very peaceful. Sooooo and Rando look around, but ignore these suspicious-looking flowers.
I wouldn't know what looked right or wrong if it were 2 feet from me.
And the barn has no livestock. In fact, they haven't seen a single animal since they arrived. Layla tells Elias that she loved Spock back on Earth, and Elias asks if she wants him to stay, to which she replies,
"There is no choice, Elias. He will stay."
That's creepy. McCoy scans some people, but they're perfectly healthy, and Spock reports that the only life he's found are plants and the colonists, so something is definitely up. Elias shows Kirk some magic dirt which will grow anything, but this guy notes they haven't grown very much of anything. And McCoy calls Kirk back to tell him that not only are the colonists perfectly healthy, but old injuries they had are no longer there.
Can I play the piano anymore?
Of course you can.
Well, I couldn't before.
Why does this look all midsummer? Anyway, Spock is puzzled and Layla promises to explain later and gives a weird speech, and she sorta sounds like a robot. This isn't Raina number 23 or something, is it? Kirk tells Elias that they're going to have to evacuate them all, but obviously he doesn't want to go, as they're in no danger, despite all their animals dying. And Layla takes Spock to visit a flower that spores Spock in the face, which gives him a headache. He suddenly feels better and declares his love to Layla, and ooh, check out Spock getting a kiss for once. Kirk must be livid. Elias refuses to leave, and the away team regroup, although Spock and one of the randos are missing, and they try to call Spock, but he's looking at clouds and talking about rainbows. When he does finally answer, he refuses to cooperate and hangs up, causing McCoy to think he might be in trouble. Kirk goes looking for him and finds him laughing and climbing a tree, while the missing rando gives McCoy some of the flowers to look at, and Kirk tells Sooooo to arrest Spock. Spock leads them straight to the flowers, which spores at them, affecting Sooooo and the rando, but not Kirk for some reason. I guess he didn't get enough on him?
Hiya, Jimmy boy.
Great, McCoy too. So Kirk beams back aboard where Uhura has also been infected. Damn you, plant! There's a queue forming to beam down to the surface, and Kirk tries to reason with McCoy, who says the colony is paradise and doesn't want to leave. But Spock is actually helpful and explains where the plants came from. Look how happy this chair is! Kirk goes back to the abandoned ship and records a lonely captain's log because he can't contact anyone but the surface thanks to Uhura, and he can't fly the ship by himself.
I don't know what I can offer against paradise.
Kirk gets bored and calls Spock to say he's joining them, and then he looks at a medal which either snaps him out of it or he was never under to begin with. Kirk has a blue-faced epiphany and says he has a risky plan and asks Spock to beam up to help him pack. Kirk insults Spock, calling him a computer and a freak, so time for some stunt doubles to have a fight. The surge of anger snaps Spock out of the spore's control and they go off to build something to cure everybody else. But Layla calls worried, so Spock beams her aboard. She realizes that he's no longer under the influence and begs him to come back because she really does love him.
I can't lose you now, Mr. Spock. I can't.
He breaks up with her, which in turn breaks her out of the Spore's control, and they go back to finish the device which turns this metal spade into wood and causes fights to break out amongst the crew and the colonists, breaking them all free of the Spores. Elias decides they should evacuate after all. Bye! Okay, immediate thoughts. The hippies from the Way to Eden would love this place. Not gonna lie, I don't really have much to say as this episode basically explained itself, but it's nice that Spock had the romantic storyline for once instead of Kirk. Although true to form, Kirk is painted as the hero yet again, which gets kinda old. Give someone else a chance. The scene with the empty ship was kinda cool, but I feel like if it was any other iteration of Star Trek, when Kirk called to see if anyone was there, someone would have answered back, and we could have had a cool team up to solve the problem. The music was noticeably well used in this episode, and we have an interesting look at what really makes happiness. Is it having everything you want, or is it the ambition to work towards achieving it? I wish I'd warned to Layla more, so the emotional scene between her and Spock near the end would have impacted me more, but she came across slightly creepy to me. So there you have it. That was This Side of Paradise. If there's an episode of Star Trek you'd like me to cover, pop it down in the comments below or come say hi on social media. If you enjoyed this video, then please hit that like button, it really does mean a lot, or consider subscribing if you want to be assimilated into my channel. Alternatively, feel free to check out my other YouTube channels. Thank you so much for watching, I'll speak to you soon, and live long and prosper.